We all have the basics when it comes to riding our e-mountain bikes. We have the bike itself, helmet, gloves, and a few basic tools. But there's a few things that you definitely need to make riding your e-bike that little bit easier, and things that are really handy to have around. Now, you've probably noticed when working on the drivetrain of your e-mountain bike that it won't backpedal like you can do on a regular mountain bike. Now, this little device, all this does is it goes into your chainring bolts and then locks against the crank arm. And hey presto, you've got a backpedaling e-bike. Now, if your trails aren't within riding distance from your house, you're definitely going to have to think about getting your bike to the trails. Life definitely becomes easier once you have an e-mountain bike rated rack. These are designed to manage the weight of a couple of bikes with ease, and they usually mount on your tow bar. These racks definitely take the strain away from trying to muscle an e-mountain bike up onto your roof. With the fear of overloading your roof rack removed, they are definitely worth the investment. Now, a chain checker will let you know when your chain is worn and at risk of damaging some of the other components on your drivetrain, such as your cassette and more expensive items. Now, if you keep your chain checked with the wear that's going on with that chain checker, and also keep it lubed up and nice and clean, it's going to last a long time. You might want to keep going on those longer rides, and sometimes those bigger rides will require you to be carrying a second battery, especially if your bike hasn't got that range extender option. The only other option will be to stick a spare battery in your backpack. And yes, you can of course carry a battery in a standard backpack, but if you crash with a battery in your backpack, it's obviously going to cause you quite some injury and possibly damage your battery too. Now, there's dedicated e-bike battery backpacks on the market which have a nice Velcro padded slot which your battery is going to slide into and stay protected. And protecting you is also going to be a back protector built into the back of the backpack, so you're not going to damage your spine if you were to crash. Now, most e-mountain bike chargers have a built-in shut-off when it comes to charging. However, a great investment for not a lot of cash is going to be a plug-in timer. Now, all these do is plug into your plug and they will start and stop your power at your desired time. Now, the great thing about these little timers is that some electric suppliers will have peak and off-peak charging, meaning you could save a little bit of cash when it comes to topping up your battery. And also, if there was a fault with that battery charger, this little device could save the day. An e-mountain bike saddle is a world apart from a standard mountain bike saddle. It has loads of different features going on, such as layers of comfy foam in it to really make it super comfortable. It has a flexi base to allow the actual saddle to move sideways and twist with your bum whilst you're sat on it. It has extra long rails to allow you to slide or move it backwards to get that ultimate riding position. And also at the rear, you have this raised lip which stops you sliding off the back when it gets super steep. And at the front of the saddle, you have a flat nose section which allows you to get your weight forward to stop that front wheel lifting up when it gets super steep. With an e-mountain bike, you'll feel inspired to go out whatever the weather. And the great thing about having all that assist is that you won't ever get bogged down in the mud. But having that assist means you're going to ride that mud at ever increasing speed than you ever would have done on your mountain bike. So you're definitely going to need a front mudguard. If you want to ride trails and be able to see whatever the weather, you definitely need to invest in one. The initial purchase price of an e-mountain bike can be quite costly, but don't underestimate the amount of cash that you need to keep it running sweet. Things like tires, brake pads, chains, cassette are all going to be consumable items that will wear a bit quicker than they would have done especially if you come from mountain biking to e-mountain biking. Make sure you keep that cash pot topped up. To slow down the wear of your drivetrain components, it is vital that you keep things clean and lubed. Now, the lube that you use is a vital part of this process. Now, you need to steer away from conventional multi-purpose oils or lubes that say that they do it all, because they don't. You definitely need to use an e-mountain bike rated lube on your chain or a chain wax designed for the job in hand. An essential bit of kit that you're definitely going to need for your e-mountain bike if you've got air shocks on your bike is going to be a shock pump. Now this will let you adjust the suspension on your bike, dialing in that all-important sag, and it will also allow you to set your bike up for different riding scenarios. Say for instance, one day you're trail riding, you're going to need a bit softer suspension, and next day you're going to a bike park and hitting some big jumps where you're going to need to pump it up. So there you go, a bunch of items that you might not have realised that you actually need for your e-mountain bike, but get involved in the comments box down below if we've left anything out that you think is definitely essential. Give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe to us here on EMBN, and get in our merch shop and check out all the latest new kit.